The Indian game begins by controlling the important e4 square with the knight, rather than a pawn. c4 builds a strong center by controlling the important d5 square and creates a square for the knight to come to c3 without blocking the c-pawn. The king's Indian defense prepares to develop the bishop to g7, allowing white to build up a strong center, which black will later try to undermine. Knight c3 prepares the e2-e4 pawn push and helps control the d5 square. Bishop g7 puts the bishop on the long diagonal in a move called a fianchetto. e4 takes full control of the center. d6 controls the e5 square and allows the light-squared bishop to develop. Bishop e2 develops the light-squared bishop and prepares to castle kingside. Castling gets the king out of the center and activates the rook. Knight f3 develops the knight, defends the d4 pawn, controls the e5 square, and prepares to castle. e5 takes space in the center and immediately attacks the d4 pawn. Castling gets the king out of the center and activates the rook. Moving from its starting spot, the bishop gets involved in the game. This overlooks an opportunity to create a pawn chain. After all captures, this is an equal trade. This maintains the balance in material with a good trade. This is an equal trade. This threatens to win material through a tactic. This stops the opponent from being able to win material through a tactic. The bishop finds a new active square. This threatens to force isolated doubled pawns. The rooks can see each other now, allowing them to provide mutual defense. After all captures, this is an equal trade. This threatens to win material through a tactic. This misses an opportunity to offer an equal trade of pieces. This is not the right idea. This offers an equal trade of pieces. This moves the bishop to a more active square, making it gain scope. This is an equal trade. Recaptures. This mobilizes the knight, allowing it to control more of the board. This kicks a knight. This wins a tempo by threatening a bishop and forcing it to move away. This move puts the bishop on a safer square. Now white can't stop black from winning a pawn if they make the right moves. This defends a pawn that was under attack and had no defenders. Black will be winning a pawn with that fork. This move puts the rook on a safer square. That was a free pawn. This overlooks an opportunity to eventually win a pawn. This stops the opponent from being able to tactically win a knight. The knight is kicked by a pawn and must now move or be captured. This is the only move that works. This creates a counter threat against the rook, as opposed to retreating. This moves the rook to safety. This wins a tempo by threatening a rook and forcing it to move away. This threatens to capture a knight and win material after the follow-on trades. This is the only good move. This forces the opponent to isolate a pawn. Takes back. This moves the knight to safety. After all captures, this is an equal trade. Very precise. This evades the check from the knight. This move puts the knight on a safer square. This misses a better way to evade the check from the opposing knight. This maintains the balance in material with a good trade. This defends the attacked pawn. Only one move worked there, and this wasn't it. This takes an open file, a common method for activating a rook. There were worse moves, but also something much better. The bishop moves out of a pin while also providing critical defense to a piece. This is an equal trade. Recaptures. This is a fair move. A solid choice. That's not a mistake, but it's not the best move either. This misses a much better move. This takes an open file, a common method for activating a rook. This moves the bishop to safety. This misses an opportunity to create a pawn chain. Right on target. After all captures, this is an equal trade. This defends the attacked pawn. That's fine. This evades the check from the knight. The knight now occupies a secure outpost. That pawn was free for the taking. This is the only good move. This defends a pawn that was under attack and had no defenders. That was a free pawn. This is the strongest option. This moves the bishop to safety. This defends a vulnerable pawn by pinning one of its attackers. This defends the attacked bishop. A very strong play. This evades the check from the rook. This defends a vulnerable pawn by pinning one of its attackers. This defends the attacked bishop. Placing a rook behind an opposing passed pawn can inhibit the pawn's ability to promote. This maintains the balance in material with a good trade. One of the best moves. This move puts the pawn on a safer square. That pawn was free for the taking. This evades the check from the knight. This activates the king in the endgame by getting it off of the back rank. Very precise. Right on target. This evades the check from the knight. This takes an outpost, a square where the knight cannot be kicked out by a pawn. Pushing a passed pawn. The bishop is kicked by a pawn and must now move or be captured. This move puts the bishop on a safer square. This is the strongest option. A solid choice. Very precise. This moves the bishop to safety. This threatens to force eventual checkmate. This prevents the opponent from being able to force eventual checkmate. A very strong play. This is a fair move. The passed pawn moves towards its goal.